Welcome to the Woodridge Audio Project. I'm David, or Dave if you prefer, from audioprojectcentral.com, and I'm hosting the Woodridge Audio Project. This episode of the Woodridge Audio Project is part of the uplifting, informative, and, I'm sure you will agree, inspirational series of character profiles of different people at the school. Please share the episodes with your friends and your family via your social media or in whatever ways you can think of, even if that means emailing a link to someone. You can find out more about Woodridge or contact a member of the team by visiting www.woodridge.co.za. The guest for this episode is Mrs. Jenna Wade. She begins by talking about her background, her journey that brought her to Woodridge, and about her role as a preparatory school teacher.
So I come from a family of teachers, and I decided I didn't want to be a teacher. I was going to be a lawyer. I was going to wear the high heels. I was going to earn the big bucks. And then I took a little trip to America as an au pair in 2004, and I changed my mind completely. I was accepted at varsity to study a BCom, and 2 weeks before we started, that was it. I wanted to be a teacher. I wanted to spend time with my children one day, and I wanted to impart some kind of knowledge onto future generations. So much to, I think, my family's dismay, I studied teaching because now I wasn't going to make the big bucks. So I did my 4-year degree, and as soon as I finished, I headed straight to South Korea. I did the usual 2-year teaching stint there, and then that took me to Hong Kong for 6 years. After that, we traveled to the UAE for a year, and then we decided after having our son, we wanted to be back in South Africa with our family. So that brought us to Woodridge, which was a perfect fit because my son likes the outdoors. So it has been a phenomenal fit for us as a family as well.
What happened in the USA to change your mind from becoming a lawyer to becoming a prep school teacher?
How much time do we have? So in a nutshell, I worked for a lawyer. And basically, I would get messages at night, please let them know once the children are asleep. They don't want to deal with that. As soon as the kids are in bed, they will come home. So they were basically around the corner, having a meal or something. And they didn't want to actually have that connection with their kids. It was too much of a hassle. So gone before the kids wake up in the morning and back when the kids are asleep at night. So that just gives you a tiny glimpse into the people that I'm going to write a book about it, just FYI. I've got so many stories. People are like, you have to get that down. So that's just a tiny glimpse into that.
Is that perhaps something that other staff members and peers and colleagues won't know about you, or do you have something else to add to the question about what they might not know about you?
Some colleagues have heard my story, like my closest colleagues. I actually opened up about it, I think it was only about 3 weeks ago, and I really delved into some of the stories and what it was like that year. It was a leap year, so I was there for 366 days, and not just your regular year, it was that extra day packed in there.
Counting down the days.
So yeah, something they wouldn't know about me would probably be that was where my love for reaching maybe that student who wouldn't be able to be reached normally. The son I looked after had huge emotional issues. I took him to various different people to help him, psychologists, play therapists, etc. He had a lot of anger issues. I think it stemmed from, not having that connection with your parents. And I think that's where I thought, maybe one day that's something I want to tackle. And I did. I did my honors in special needs education, and it's something I'm really passionate about. So I think it stemmed from that. If I have to really go back and think hard, it was that little boy who just needed love, and he just needed somebody to understand him a little bit better.
Great to know that you're taking that experience and passion and spreading it in your own classroom. Thinking now of the Woodridge context, what highlights stand out for you in your time there?
Definitely, I would say the staff. We have a fun-loving staff. I think the family feeling here has been such a relief after working in some schools where, you go in and it's work, leave school, and that's it. Like, you don't chat to people, you don't have a kind of a social life outside of that. So that's a massive highlight. As I mentioned before, my son, just seeing him thrive here. The other day we were in the car and he just said, out of the blue, Mom, I just love Woodridge. So I said, wow, why do you? He said, all my friends are here. All my people are here. So I said, that's just so great. That was a definite highlight moment for me. But also I think on the staff, there's certain staff members who I'm easily frightened. Okay, I'll put that out there. And like to give me frights at every turn. They'll walk up behind me. I'll drop everything I've got. Cell phone goes flying, brand new laptop, almost, destroyed. So they know who they are. So I think it's become a thing to see, if you can give me a fright tonight, I'll take it in jest, but I'm going to get them back. I don't know how, but I'm going to get them back.
To your peers and colleagues, just watch out. You don't want Jenna to suddenly have a heart attack in the corridor or something.
Well, I was pregnant last year and they had to stop. So it was pretty cool. For quite a while, I knew I was safe. I wasn't hiding behind the corner. I was safe for a while. But unfortunately, I'm not with child anymore. So that's the frights have come back.
But if you had one piece of advice for your students or colleagues, peers, friends, what would it be and why?
I think the most important thing, especially in teaching, and we're seeing it more and more now, is that relationships matter. You don't learn from somebody who you don't think likes you. That's the first thing. Second thing is when you create that relationship with the kid, they want to do better for you. They want to show you what they can do. If you go in and every day you're just this absolute nightmare of a teacher and it's drill, drill, drill and learn, I feel if you take the time to make that relationship, to check in with that kid, to ask about their surfing or to ask about what they did on the weekend or something silly, their dog or their cat that's important to them, to make that connection. And then I think they feel seen and they feel heard and they think, actually, she's not so bad. She's actually, I'm going to work well for her and she actually cares. So I think number one is relationships matter. Take the time to build those relationships. I think that was something difficult if we're going to talk about COVID and last year online, on screen, to try and, how do you really get to know someone if you can't see their face properly and make those jokes and, ask about their so-called boyfriend or something silly. I think that's a lot of what I do in the classroom is little jokes here, little like my personality coming out. Even it's hard with the grade 7s. I rarely get a laugh, very rarely. Yeah, I try. Every day I try. But I think relationships matter. That's the bottom line. Take the time to build the relationship. And I think you reap the benefits throughout the year.
You've spoken highly already of the Woodridge context. How would you say that the Woodridge context allows you to focus on relationships?
Well, I think the first and foremost, we are so blessed in that we are not stuck to a super rigid curriculum. We have a little bit of freedom. We can tweak things. And I think that is where we are so lucky. I mean, in previous schools, you've got to get through content. You've got to, if they don't kind of get it, you've got to keep going. You've got to, you've got tests to mark and you've got assessments to do. Whereas at Woodridge, I just remember when I first started, I don't know if you remember the boys in Thailand who were trapped in the cave. I just thought, this is phenomenal. I mean, I just arrived. I went to our headmaster. I said, can I do a lesson on these kids? I think it's phenomenal. They're trapped in this cave. And we delved into it and we read newspaper reports and we watched. And it was just so great to take a current event, make it real in their life and then go from there. And I did comprehensions and we did essay writing and I fitted it all in, but in a context that wasn't bound to something I did at school 20 years ago, that we must stick to learning grammar today, or we must learn, how to write a contextual essay or something. I don't know. So it was great. The flexibility, I think we are so, so lucky. And the smaller classes as well, that definitely helps. Definitely being able to teach what you're passionate about, if that makes sense. If something happens, you can tweak and kind of go with that.
Mrs. Wade, do you have any thoughts on a favorite book of yours or documentary, podcast, or anything that you think might be of interest to listeners, and why?
Okay, so I'm diving into a book called Untamed by Glennon Doyle. The reviews are kind of raving. Everyone's all over the book. Adele, the singer, read it. She said it changed her life. I've had it sitting here. My birthday was in January. I'm going to read it as soon as I get time. So yeah, that's on my list. I am an avid reader. I haven't read since I've had children. It really is terrible, but it's right here. I'm going to read it. And yeah, maybe more thoughts on that at a later stage. And
then do you have any final thoughts to conclude the interview?
I think, this has been great. If I can say to students out there, you can make up your mind about something one day, like with me being a lawyer, and you can change your mind, and it's totally okay to do that. You've got to do, I think, within your heart what really is true to you, and it's okay to fail as long as you learn from that and you kind of rise above that and just do better and be decent humans. That's pretty much it.
And that brings us to the end of the interview. Thanks for listening, and please do remember to share the episodes and relevant social media posts with your friends and family, and like the episodes at whichever social media platform you found them on. If you have any follow-up questions, head over to www.woodridge.co.za, where you will find the contact details for the school, and you can contact me at www.audioprojectcentral.com.